you guys! Hey, Gen X, especially older Gen X, okay? I wanted to bring a little nostalgia, maybe some good memories to you with my Electric Company t-shirt and talk a little bit about some things. For example, the Electric Company ran the original run from 1971 to 77, if I'm not mistaken. I was still really young when it went off the air. But that show made an impression on me that I am in my 50s and I still remember. Just that logo there, just that gives me a smile. And just the opening and the music, it was cool. It was in that 70s time period, and they used all of that groovy music or whatever. And it seemed really cool. I think it was aimed at 6 to 10-year-olds or something like that, which was perfect for me, fit right in. And some of you may or may not have seen that. But this show did something that we don't see enough of today in any way, shape, or form. Okay, it taught things like phonics, and it tried to help with reading comprehension. That was the whole purpose of that. We also had things like, we had Reading Rainbow with LeVar Burton. We had, of course, Schoolhouse Rock with all kinds. And oh man, how many people can remember the preamble to the Constitution just because of Schoolhouse Rock? And that was no small feat, because I can still, in this day, I can hear it in my head and I can sing it in my head. I can say it, and nobody knows that I'm singing it in my head. And you also know that as a history student, when I used to have to figure out, wait a minute, if I need to know this date, is there a Schoolhouse Rock song that told me that? Finally knocked on Plymouth Rock, and someone said, we're there. It may not look like home, but at this point, I don't care. That was when the Pilgrims landed in 1607. And so I could see this stuff. I could see it so clearly these days. Anyway, it did a ton of good for me, and even with math and adjectives and adverbs and all that. But the Electric Company had its own vibe. It was cool. It was super cool. When they would roll that TV out in the classroom and you'd get to watch the Electric Company and you'd hear that intro, it was rocking back then. A lot of us have this memory too of, here's the thing that they don't really teach anymore, as far as I can gather. And by the time they get to me in college, that ship has long sailed. There used to be a section in the Electric Company where you would have the silhouette of a man on one side, silhouette of a woman on the other side, just their heads. And the man would say something like, k, and then the woman would say, at. And then together they would say, cat. Basic phonics, sounding out words, understanding the way the letters each have a sound to them. And oh my goodness, you wouldn't believe how many people can't do that today. The younger ones, it's tragic. And when I've tried to teach that, it doesn't work. We've got it stuck up here in our heads because of things like that. I haven't watched any of the newer children's programming for quite a while because my son will be 18, and it's been a while. But it seemed like still, no matter what, we learned a lot from those things. The Electric Company, like I said, it had its own vibe. It was like to me, it was the standout, the cool one. And it was the one that just you looked forward to every day on PBS whenever you could get to it, or if your teacher showed it to you. But they caught us with the music. They caught us not just with that one, the Schoolhouse Rock and all the others. And it's easiest to learn from music, from the words, from lyrics. How did you learn your alphabet? Just think about that. Anyway, I thought I might just give you a little hot shot of nostalgia here with my Electric Company logo, which is why I had to buy this shirt. Love you guys. Bye.